Okay, I think we're live. We should be live. We're live on, we're live on my personal YouTube channel, but then this is going to get published later on Atheist Republic. But originally, we go live on my personal channel. This is what we do with Patreon and member. You're a patron or a member? You're a member, right?
Member, not patron.
Yeah, you're a YouTube member,
Yes.
and we do with top tier with top tier patrons and top tier members. Anything above Satan's minion, we have these meetings which we go. By the way, if you are watching this on Atheist Republic later, check link to my personal channel is in the description. Armin Navabi. That channel is where we're all gonna go once we get like strikes and everything, and we get nuked out of Atheist Republic. That's where we're gonna be. So make sure you're following me there as well on my.
You're not going to survive that drunk live stream with at 30,000. It's never going to happen.
Oh, it's not going to happen.
With you doing your drunk live stream at 30,000 and trying to get us not to get banned for saying stupid things is never going to happen. You do realize?
No,
you're never going to survive it.
Hey, not with that attitude. Okay. I'll figure it out though. And you don't believe in how much self-control I have. You have never seen me drunk. You don't know that. I'm gonna be fine. You know. Okay. I hope Susanna is not watching this because she's really scared of this. So it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Like now you're gonna make her scared. Anyways, that's not why we're here today. Today we're here. Oh wow, Vince is here. Hi, Vince. Okay, so we are going to be talking. You're going to basically destroy me today.
No pressure at all.
Yeah, you're going to basically because you're a vegan. Is that true? You're a vegan, and I'm not just a non-vegan. I'm anti-vegan, right? I go beyond. Like there are a lot of.
I get it. I can't understand it. Like because you're like. My thing is that you're utilitarian.
Me?
Yeah, you're utilitarian, aren't you? Consequentialist.
Yes, I am.
And you accept the philosophy, like because this all spot from the from Alex's video.
Yes.
On cognitive dissonance, and you acknowledge that everyone he mentioned has cognitive dissonance, but yet you agree with his. You agree, like I've seen your discussions. You agree with him, don't you? At least on the base philosophy.
Yeah, I agree that other people have cognitive dissonance when it comes but not me.
And you don't because
I acknowledge that it's evil what I'm doing, and I accept that.
So therefore, it breaks down it's a breakdown to moral philosophy, then, isn't it? Is to what doing an evil act, does that make you immoral or not?
No, I accept that I'm not completely moral.
Okay.
Where's the cognitive dissonance?
But I'm not saying I don't think you have cognitive dissonance. This is why I was fascinated by you. I don't think you do. I don't think you do have cognitive dissonance. I think you're right in the sense you don't have cognitive dissonance. I just think you're wrong still.
Why am I wrong?
Because for example, the argument you gave in the video was that so with the same way that by not eating meat, I'm saving animals. You could, in theory, turn down your heating.
Yes,
and
actually. Okay, so let me for the people who don't know what I'm talking about, right? So my argument that is yes, I could save a lot of animals from misery by eliminating my meat consumption, and I or my animal consumption. Actually, to be fair, I've reduced my meat consumption a lot, but I increased my egg white consumption. Okay, and I know that's doing that decision is making some animals suffer more because of my personal decision. Okay. But I also I also know that there are many other decisions, non-vegan related, that I make during the day that is increasing suffering around the world, or at least not helping in reducing suffering around the world, which is to me the same thing, right? The example I give is I could look, it used to be 23, but now I actively try to get used to 26 for this reason, right? See, I tell you, I'm trying to be less evil, okay? So what I tell people is that right now I have my temperature at 26, right? It used to be 23, but now it's at 26. Okay, let's ignore that I'm a better person since then. Okay, let's say it was always 26, right? But I could easily decide that I could increase the temperature and the money that and be a little bit less convenient during the day, and use that money that I'm saving from not having it at 26 to donate to charity and save some children from starvation, right?
Yeah.
I could do that. I don't do that though. So technically, I am deciding that my personal convenience is more important than children dying from starvation. And you could do that with everybody, unless they're just living minimalist lives and they're doing everything they can to reduce misery around the world and doing nothing but that. Okay. What I say is that in giving a crap about the world, every single one of us we have some limited emotional capacity, right? We have fucks to give, and right, and it's limited, right? We're just handing out like, here's this, and they're like, oh, I'm out of fucks to give. I don't have them anymore. Okay, I'm just saying, I know I have some fucks to give, but I don't have unlimited fucks to give, right? So I'm just saying, as a utilitarian, I need to be more efficient with where do I put, like, I have to choose my battles.
But I don't see what fucks you lose by becoming vegan. Would be my question.
No, I'm not saying I'm going. I choose to invest my fucks in somewhere else. I'm pretty sure. I think like you look at the basket of fucks you have, and you invested in being a vegan, but you didn't invest it in everything. You can't pick. You can't fight every battle. Are you fighting every battle? Right.
Of course. So, have you heard of the effective altruism movement at all? Which is kind of so there's a movement called effective altruism. It's kind of, I don't think it was spawned by Singer, but Peter Singer's a massive influence on it. And the whole idea is it's just a community of people online. The idea is that you do that, and the whole point is that once you're financially stable enough, you take a section of your income annually and you give it to the most efficient charities that pound for pound, dollar for dollar help. And that for me at least, and again, this isn't everyone, I'm sure, but once I am financially stable out of a university, my plan is to do that, which in my opinion is what you're referring to. And again, I don't think it's moral obligation. I think moral obligations are absurd. But
what if you decided not to? What if you were like somebody that was coming up with a business idea, right? And you didn't spend any of your time and energy focusing on giving money to any charity, and your entire time was focused on motivating yourself to get this business running, and then this business picks up, and you end up employing, like, I don't know, 60 people indefinitely, and that business that you started because you were focusing on that, and you didn't reinvest your money into charity, and you reinvested your time and resources and energy and money in your own personal business. What if the people that you hired end up making more money than all the money that you were giving to the charity, right? What if, for example, you are a person that is trying to do something that's going to end up helping a lot of people, and you decide that in a way to motivate yourself, you say, if I reach this milestone, I'm going to reward myself with, I don't know, something that is meaningless to me, like a Rolex watch or something, but it's meaningful to you. And you would think that, like, I'm just saying, like, when it comes to what I'm saying is that we're treating human beings like robots, like, oh, this is the way. We're looking at every machine, every human, like it's a machine that is supposed to improve other humans' lives the most efficient way. And if this is the code that we put into every human, and this human will operate in the exact way that will make this many people happy and this many people misery, we're not taking into account the emotional limitations of the human itself, and we're treating it like a machine that is supposed to increase utility around the world. But what I'm saying is that if you, as a utilitarian, what I'm saying is that if you want to make every human into a utility maximizing machine, one thing that you need to put into this equation is the emotion of the machine itself, which is the person itself. Like, you have to understand. You have to.
I do agree with you, but with the hypothetical about, like, what if, for example, someone created a business and didn't give to charity, that hypothetically allowed the business to take off, and then others. But like that's the central like quandary with every utilitarian argument. It says that we, unfortunately, utilitarians, and we don't know, we can't ever truly know what will ultimately cause more well-being and less suffering. It's a very hard calculation. It's why it's a very difficult moral system. It's why people don't like it. But it is unfortunately the only one that seems to work. But with regards to, I agree with you that emotion needs to be a part of it, and your own well-being is a factor in the equation, and usually much larger than people give credit for. However, I fail to see how the going vegan, how that impacts your emotional well-being, unless you have health benefits or something. Like, for example, I know Susanna has health reasons she can't go vegan, for example. But that of course fine, but I don't see how it's so emotionally draining. In the same way, it's not emotionally draining for someone.
Well, okay, it's emotionally draining if you manage to find me somebody that gives me the same nutritional values that I want with tasty food, right? But
it's just taste. Like, this is the thing. Like, we like every you can.
It's just taste.
It is just taste.
I know it's just taste. You say it as if that's the small. Okay, we go through our lives. We have one life, okay, and there are two places that you get the most. Okay, what you feel on your genitals and on your tongue are the main sources of pleasure.
Hard to disagree with that.
Well, then you are different. You are different than me. Like, I don't understand how you don't think like.
So my count is gonna. You know what my count is gonna be. Like, yeah, we have one life. So do those animals. And what's that? And what is it? Just.
Okay. Do you think? Okay. Let me tell you what's more important to me. Okay. If you told me that, Armin, what is more inconvenient for you? You making the room that I'm doing this in hotter and make me like sweat every goddamn time I'm doing a live stream. Okay, if I had to do that sacrifice instead of like, okay, Armin, give up tasting chicken, okay, I would be like, I'll keep chicken. I'll do the live streams in much more inconvenient conditions. Okay, so what if? Okay, here's a question for you. Okay, if I could increase the temperature of this room and save money and use that money to donate to whatever animal activist group is out there. And I could show you that each dollar from that is going to save more chickens and cows than the cows and chickens that I'm not going to be eating. Okay. And I keep eating the chicken. Okay. And I donate that money. Would that be a net? Would you think that, oh, okay, fine, Armin, you could eat the chicken? I think that's a good thing. Do you know what I mean? Because if you donate to,
I think there's a difference in the sense of when you buy meat, you are actively participating in the suffering of animals, right? You contribute to the industry, right?
That's so irrational. What's the difference?
No. Wait. But then when you're telling this thing down, like, nothing about that involves, you are not actually contributing suffering unless you're a Marxist and you think about the capitalist system is
okay, listen, it's the same thing. Effectively, it's the same thing. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're directly doing it or indirectly doing it. Okay, so here's the thing: if I decide not to increase it, not to turn this off completely, okay, because it will be really inconveniently warm here, okay, for example, right, and not donate that money to save children from starvation, the effect of that is literally the same as me asking for people to deliver children to my house for me to sacrifice so my air conditioner could keep running. The effect of that is the same. It's technically the same thing. People could be like, oh, but Armin, when one of them, you're actively not killing the children. It's technically,
it is technically the same. So it's technically the same. If you, for example, like, not go vegan, but you were instead, but you could still achieve more utility by going vegan and also doing that. Like, I don't get.
Okay, but let's play that game then. You could do that forever. Like, if you keep doing that, then I could do that with everything else. Like, wait, the room that you're in. Do you have
slippery slope fallacy? Am I being mean if I say that's a slippery slope?
No, because you could say that, but that's a fallacy because the slippery slope fallacy is not It's not a full-on like logic. What is it called?
Oh, and it just doesn't understand this argument. But like,
something could actually be the slippery slope fallacy doesn't necessarily mean that it's all. You could argue that something does actually lead to another thing, right? So, for example, what is it called with those fallacies that are like fully logical fallacies, and the slippery slope is not one of them? Like there are situations where with your conditions, with your standards, it actually does lead to a different conclusion, right? So it's not a slippery. My conclusion could still be true. It's not a slippery slope fallacy because based on your standards, right? If you say, "Wait, you're committing the slippery slope fallacy." Hold on. How is it that if I say like, okay, hold on. Let me think about it. So you're saying that, Armin, yes, you could donate to charity and save some chickens, but you could donate to charity and save some chickens and also go vegan. Well, I could say to you, well, I could go vegan and I could donate to charity, save some chickens, go vegan, and also increase this temperature, and also sell my phone and donate to charity, and also not have bought this TV, and also not have bought my shoes,
and that's the single argument. That's the effective altruism argument. That's the idea that that it is up to each person to decide how much of their income they should give to causes.
It's bull crap. You are gonna that methodology, that single methodology, is going to exhaust. Is going to make people give up on trying to be better people because it's emotionally exhausting. Yes. You're going to make people that are naturally sympathetic, and you're going to waste that emotional sympathy that they're born with, and you're going to make them like, you know what? I don't give a shit. You're going to emotionally, you're going to make them. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to if you want to be logically consistent instead of being emotionally consistent, you're going to look at the situation where, for example, you have a person seeing like a girl, little child drowning, okay? And you're like, oh, I'm going to have to like jump into this river and save her, even though my shoes are going to be ruined. But who cares about my shoes because this child's lives matter more, okay? I could be like, okay, you care about one child in front of you, then why did you buy those shoes anyways? Because you could have used that money to save 100 childs dying from starvation, I don't know, somewhere else, right? So you think like, if this one child drowning in front of you matters, then how is it that 1,000 children far away from you don't matter, right? So you think like, oh yeah, I can get this person to now all of a sudden.
I think this only what like I do agree that if you force that, if you push that in the way that I know a lot of vegans can, and it can get really annoying, right? I don't think any of these are moral obligations. I don't think it's a moral obligation to be vegan. I think
no. But what's going to happen? You know, you're going to try to make people consistent, and the way people are going to become consistent is instead of like, okay, fine, I'm going to care about the 1,000 children because we're wired to care about one child in front of us more than 1,000 child far away. That's how our brain operates, and you have to take that into account. I know it's not consistent. Yeah. It's not consistent if we were utility calculating machines, but we're not utility calculating machines. We're freaking humans, okay? And I'm going to care, even though I know that's not consistent, even though I'm going to know that, yeah, I'm going to care about a child in front of me more than 1,000,000 child 1,000 miles away every goddamn time. That's how I'm wired. So why don't we just take advantage of the fact that I care about this child in front of me instead of telling them, no, you should care about that 1,000 children more? Well, I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna become consistent. You're gonna make people consistent by making them not care about any of it at all. This is how you're gonna make people drains people's sense of sympathy.
I see the argument, and if all vegans and all effective altruists were as forward as they can be, which I'm aware they do, and can be at times, but I don't.
Okay.
Christ.
Go.
Yeah. But my point is that of course someone's emotional capacity must enter into that equation more so than another person's capacity, because you are, after all, in your own head, you are only you. So it's the argument is to how much on the scales of your own personal comfort versus what you can do for the world, how much you're willing to access that. And it's a different answer for everyone. However, I just think it's easier to. I think people are far more capable of doing more than they think they can. People are generally more passionate than
right. But why should they invest that sympathy in the areas that you specifically care about? What if I want to invest it?
I'm not saying they have to at all.
No, but you do because
no, I don't think veganism is a moral obligation. I am genuinely of the belief it's best choice. I do think, however, that it is a extreme. It's something that's far easier than people think it is, and it's something that can achieve a lot more good for a very small amount of cost. Which is why I think people should do it. I think it's logical to do it. Whether it is the tipping scales for you on your scale of personal of emotional involvement and what can you do for the world. Like I think you're a unique case because you run a freaking charity, but you know, but for the majority of people, it to me, you acknowledge that it is an immoral act on a utilitarian standard, and you could get rid of it. And for most people, if you show them that,
so is this. Yeah, I agree though. Yeah,
if you show them that logically. Like it's very easy to by comparison to like just not ever use your air conditioning compared to giving like not.
No, I think in fact with what most people has, I don't agree with that. I think like based on how people's emotional based on how people's brains are mostly wired and the way that their sympathy works, when we go to them and tell them to stop eating meat because we care about animals, what we have done is we've betrayed animals because people are not going to give up meat. And now when we go to them to care about animals in other ways, they're going to be like, oh my God, crazy vegans are after me. And they're going to shut down. Okay. Because it was so much, because the way that people operate, their brains operate. If all these animal rights activists have focused all their energy on like, hey, come on, let's pass laws to increase the standards on big corporation on how they treat animals, then they will be like, yeah, like you're like, oh, look at the video, look at big.
No, I disagree with this completely.
You were like big corp. You hate big corp, right? Yeah, I hate big corp. Look at the way they treat the chickens. You're like, you want to pass laws to make them to treat chickens more humanely? They're like, yeah, okay, let's start a campaign to call the Congress people, to make these animal farms more humane to animals. Okay, and guess what? That effectively will make chickens and cows more expensive, and it will reduce the consumption anyway. So you will not only the conditions will become better for the ones that do get murdered, as you like to say, but it would be expensive to keep them like that, and that would effectively make the price of chicken, cow high enough for less people to consume them anyways, without them knowing that that's what they voted for. But
that isn't how that. And in theory, that'd be lovely, but that's not how it works. Because lobbying the industries of dairy product, dairy, egg, and meat industries, they're so entrenched and lobby the government. So, like at least in the UK, for example, they get so many subsidies that we are never ever going to make inroads in there. However,
with that attitude,
but by market forces, in the UK, they've already several dairy industry, several big dairy corporations have gone bankrupt because of vegan participation, we're actually making a difference. And this is the thing, like, and in an ideal world, like I would want to do it. I would want to do it by legislation, not by market forces. Unfortunately, we live in the more free market world that we do, and it is making an active difference. And this is my thing. Like,
I didn't say it's not making a difference. I'm just saying.
And I think going up to someone and going, if you did this, you can actually make a difference is far more compelling than
look at the results. The vegans have the worst. The vegans have the worst reputation.
We have an optics problem. I won't lie to you. We have a massive optics
problem. Yes, but if these animal rights activists, I'm pretty sure their marketing would have been. First of all, come on, like all these corporations with all their lobbying and stuff, they couldn't stop regulations on lead. Okay, look at how far we got, right? Like people are like, okay, so like, you come up with.
We're already undermining. Why switch tactics now?
Because look at the results. People think every time you talk about animal rights, people like think crazy vegans and don't want to listen to you. Okay, I just think if all of these resources and all of these campaigns and all of this energy, like when you say, like, look at the chickens, they're being like right now. If I say, look at this chicken, look how harmful look how they're being treated, people run away. But if the messaging was, look at how this chicken is being, I mean, people are naturally, if they see a chicken being tortured, they will be like, oh my God, what can I do? Like, we've gotten to a place where people actually run away. I think if the messaging was, look how this chicken is being treated, can we pass some laws on these corporations? People will be like, yes, please. Oh my God, this is shocking. Right now, this natural desire, the people, like this thing that I think would have been so easy. Like, it's unbelievable to me that now every time somebody sees animal mistreatment, they don't want to listen to you because they know what's coming. They know what's coming to you. This could have been completely the other way around. Like, it was so easy to show this mistreatment of animals and get people to mobilize in masses, in much bigger masses than what you're seeing when it comes to veganism, to put pressure on these corporations to pass tougher regulations. Like, I mean, we have done it with almost everything else. Like, hey, when people wanted regulations, for example, in North American countries, to like, hey, look, these handicapped people, they can't go up the stairs. There needs to be a way for every single handicapped people to be able to go into every corporations everywhere. At least that's how it is in Canada. They're like, okay, fine. Like, the government passed a law. Like, oh, this is not okay. We need to make this better for this. But the fridges, like, they're producing too much heat. I don't know. Every time they're like, more regulations. People go, even though these big corporations don't like it, somehow they manage to get enough attention and enough people mobilized to pass on this regulation. This would have been easier. Like, look at these baby pigs. Look at them. Look at this like sound they make when they're being killed. This is not okay. Do you know how easy it would have been to mobilize all these people who don't like watching this, to pass the blame? You're blaming the people. Okay.
I don't think people, I know
people don't want to. People don't want to be told that you're the evil one. You're the evil one. Okay. They don't want to be told that. You have to be telling them, like, no, they're the evil one. Let's go get them. That would have been so much easier. But go on.
Yeah, well, I do understand, and a lot of what you say is relevant to the modern vegan movement, and I won't lie. But personally, representing only myself and only my personal view, like a person is not. I don't think people can. I don't think there's such a thing as an immoral person. I think that's an absurd philosophical claim. It doesn't make any sense to me. There are moral actions and immoral actions, and you can demonstrate to someone by the principles that their action is moral or immoral, and you don't have to be an arsehole about it. And doing so, whether they give up meat or not, knowing so, will plant the deceived doubt in their mind, and they will by showing that, whether they become vegan or not, will do something more active. Like, even you who hasn't become vegan, you're aware of this issue, and you're more likely to like cut down on your meat consumption, even if you are eating more eggs, and then and know the causes, and like I assume at least in some way more sympathetic to a animal rights cause when it comes along. Like, I don't think these are exclusive things. I don't think you have to.
No, there are exclusive things because people have limited fucks to give.
Well, if I demonstrate to someone that eating meat is an immoral thing to do, then not that they're a moral person, not that they're an immoral person, and I can do that, and I have done it before. And people I know who still eat meat, who realize it's a good cause and will stand by me in it, and that to me that's far better.
I'm talking about trends, not anecdotal examples. Okay. For example, when I'm talking about environmental effects, for example, right? If you tell people to, if I have a campaign to get people to walk to work instead of driving to work, okay? I don't think that's that these kind of things, trying to change people's individual behavior, is really not going to move the needle as much as the same resources.
But it already has.
Wait, no, but not as. I'm talking about the opportunity cost, not that it's not going to have an effect. When something has a positive effect, you could point to the positive effect, but you have to also point. Do you know what opportunity cost is? Yeah, right? I could read this book. I could read this book and get some benefit out of it, but the benefit could actually be not enough for me to get the relative to the benefit that I would have gotten, obviously, from this book, I would have gotten more benefit out of it, right? So there's an opportunity cost with the benefit that I got out of it, because I could have gotten more benefits from doing something else. So when you do a campaign, whether it's vegan, whether it's making more people go vegan, or whether getting people to bike instead of driving to work, walking to work instead of driving to work, of course there's a benefit to it. But I'm saying there's an opportunity cost to it, because the same time, resources, and energy, if it was spent on something else, there would be more benefit out of it that you have lost. Right. And again, what I'm saying if you have a time and energy for a campaign to put like a tiny bit of regulation on corporations to like be more energy efficient, would have done, like, these are studies that show that it would have done thousands of times more effect in reducing carbon emissions than you getting so many people walk to work instead of driving to work. Okay. And I'm just saying, like, showing the success of people going vegan is not going to have very limited impact compared to what the impact that I think, again, this is a hypothesis, you would have got it if you had spent all this time and energy to pass more regulations of big corporations to have higher standards on how they treat animals. So I think animals are suffering more because of the vegans.
See, I disagree with that completely. I again, the evidence isn't borne out in terms of, again, like I say, it's a hypothesis. I can't say whether you're right or wrong, but the fact that we're already making a difference, and I guess suppose then my end goal is that this stops, not that the animals treat slightly better. For me, it's that it stops.
Well, it does. What my strategy actually makes more people stop. Okay, more people are going to reduce their meat consumption because meat prices are going up than people telling them that they're wrong to eat meat. Okay, my method will get the meat because the conditions that I think that should be enforced in animal farms are so strict that will make animal meat prices go really high.
But then they're already subsidized ridiculously. Like it's already absurd.
The subsidy should be removed. Then do a campaign for that. Again,
do you not think the vegan movement has been trying? Like these are things that are happening as well.
They haven't. Did I say that they haven't? I'm just saying redirect the energy that goes to chasing people, okay, to get them to stop eating meat. If you redirect that more towards, you want to get even bigger bag.
I don't disagree on principle that the vegan movement has a problem in how it approaches people. It really does. Like, it's why I much prefer Alex Cosmic Skeptic's approach and Earthling Ed. If anyone's seen him, he's amazing. He's like just the most friendly vegan activist you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, he's just Earthling Ed. Give him a look. He's just the most friendly, brilliant person to talk about veganism. Like, he's never confrontational. He's just always on the facts. He's fantastic.
Okay.
So do a review. I'll stick some of his videos in the Discord server, and you can have a look at them.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree. I think if this was an argument on like the way the vegan movement acts and treats people, you're right. It's ridiculous, and it does need to shift. I won't disagree with you. Just because on a utilitarian consequentialist model, we're not doing, but we could be doing a lot better. I won't disagree with you there. However, it does not stop the fact that, to me, going vegan is a very simple thing for the majority. If you got to the point you got to, where the cognitive dissonance is not there, and you acknowledge the fact that it is a moral act, it really isn't that much. Just go slightly further and add an impact. And that's what I don't understand personally.
All right, I have a question. Okay,
go nuts.
Why is it that it seems to me that vegans, okay? So here's the thing. If I said, you know what? You convinced me. I'm not gonna eat. I'm vegan now. Okay. The vegans are like, yay. Okay. But if I say, okay, you convinced me, but I'm still gonna eat meat and egg whites and other animal products, but I'm gonna donate to charity, and this is going to offset my animal consumption by more than me giving up meat. Okay, this is going to offset my animal consumption by more than me giving up meat. Okay, they're like, you always get the response, okay, but why don't you do that and give up meat? You never get the other way around. Why is it that you don't get the way that, okay, I gave up meat, and then you don't hear, okay, but why don't you give up meat and also donate? It seems like there's a dogmatic attack. It seems to me that it's not about increasing utility, but this dogmatic obsession over this being the way to increase utility. Like other forms of reducing misery apparently just matters less for some sacred reason compared to this way of reducing misery.
I don't think it's so sacred. Possibly it is, but I think that's because actually a lot of vegans don't actually have like a full put out philosophical model. I won't lie to you. But I think like for me, if you did that, like I would say encourage you that is a better thing to do. I think for me it's the cost benefit. Like it's what you lose or gain. Like if you're donating to charity, for example, you're taking off a sizable cut of your income to donate to charity to make up for not going vegan. Whereas if you went vegan, nothing much would change other than you don't get to taste chicken anymore, which I know for you is a big thing, and I'm sure that hurts. But like, I think that's my that's just my argument. And again, if it doesn't convince you, it doesn't convince you. Like I guess it's not moral obligation.
Why do you think it's such me like giving up taste is less significant than me sitting in a room that is much more not more that in a temperature that I don't like, that is more inconvenient, right? Like, don't you think like me giving up having the right temperature in my room less significant than giving up on one of the most common pleasures in life that we are here for? Like, I don't understand. Like, who are you to decide that this is an insignificant pleasure? Like, oh, it's just about taste. Oh, it's just about taste. Yeah, it's about freaking taste. Like, what do you mean it's just taste? Taste is so important. Like, do you understand that we only get one life, right? Do you understand that the pleasures that you get to experience in life are extremely limited? Right? I don't understand. Like, I never understood this idea of like, oh, it's just taste. Yes, I think that's that's a high priority.
Okay, but it's not even all taste. Like I personally, having switched to vegan, find vegan food tastes better than normal food.
Well, that's your personal.
I know, but you don't. It's like I'm sure on a vegan diet you could find things that were just as tasty, that gave you just as much pleasure, maybe different kind of pleasure, but just as much pleasure as before. I don't think utility-wise you lose that anything.
I will. Okay, first of all, if you hire me a cook that gives me not just the better taste, but also the nutritions that I want. I'm very picky about that, right? So with zero extra inconvenience.
So if you're saying that if I could find a cook that could make a vegan meal for you that was in your opinion as tasty as a non-vegan meal and had the nutritional value, you go vegan. Is that what you're saying?
Not even if it's as 80% as good, if only 80% as good in taste, but nutritional values should be the same, like the calorie per protein ratio, and also all the minerals that I want. Okay, if it has that, okay. So right now, for example, I eat crap ton of vegetables. I eat a lot of vegetables. Okay? A lot of vegetables. Like, it's crazy how much vegetables I eat. But most of my food is either fish, chicken. Most of my protein source is fish, chicken, and egg whites. Egg whites. I'm going crazy with egg whites because there's nothing on this world that has the protein per calorie ratio of egg whites. It's magic. It's like amazing. Okay, I just if I want to have dessert, if I want to have a meal, it's just egg whites. Okay, so there's no way you're gonna be able to do anything.
Why don't you get chickens in your back garden then?
What?
We get chickens in your back garden. If you have a back garden, I don't know if you do.
It's like inconvenient, and I do podcasts. They're gonna make noises.
But that would be a way for you to preserve your taste and you still contribute to the movement. Do you see what I mean?
What?
Like, that would be a way for you to keep your taste and contribute to the movement, for example.
Yeah, but it's going to ruin the quality of my podcast, and this is my activism.
Not that loud. I know it gets hypothetical.
Oh my god, they're horrible. The chickens are extremely noisy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go to people's houses with chickens making noises, sometimes like, you know what? You guys deserve everything that you're coming. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, It's fast. Like at least you're at that stage in terms of. I don't know why you're anti-vegan, like unless it is just this like.
Because of them, because I love I'm anti-vegan because I love animals.
Okay. So
and I think the vegan movement
to me personally, you seem anti the vegan movement, less anti-vegan itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like I have just I have mixed feelings about the movement. I won't lie to you because it's not.
No. I think if the vegans most like vegans like you, for example, I think like I admire you, right? But I think like you decided to fight this, like reduce the source, you contributing to the amount of misery in the world in one way, and I think other people can choose to do that in other ways, right? And the ways that other people chose to reduce misery in the world, you are not doing that. And it would be unreasonable for somebody to come to you and be like, why are you, okay, great that you're a vegan and you're reducing misery in this way, but why are you not doing that other thing that guy is doing to reduce misery? It's very easy to do that.
Yeah.
Then why are you not doing that? Like it would be so unreasonable for somebody to come after you for not doing every single way out there to reduce misery.
I do agree with you, but the thing in philosophy, at least from my perspective, again, only representing myself here, but is if someone doing one of those other things came up to me and showed me how I could, with very, very little damage to my own personal well-being, how I could affect that cause, and it was within my power to do it, I would at least personally do it. And that's not that much to me.
Let's do that. Okay, wait. Right now, do you have any heaters on or anything in your room? You don't? Do you ever turn? Wait, how much did you pay for that mic? What is that in front of you? Is that a microphone?
Yes, it is a microphone.
How much did you pay for that?
An amount of money.
Okay, you put it on eBay. Put it on eBay. Put it on eBay tomorrow.
And this is the effective altruism movement. So once I have a stable income, okay. I personally have pledged to. No.
You have to do it the way things. I'm not talking
why,
about.
Why am I going to do you? Because as I said, that the personal well-being in terms of
you're distracting. No, you're it has to be a thing that I'm saying, not those other things.
Okay, go for the hypothetical then. Go on.
It has to be the specific thing that I'm saying when it comes to reducing misery. I don't care if you're going to go donate to charity later, okay? That microphone in front of you, it has to be specifically this. You have to put it, it's very easy to, how much is that microphone? How much did you pay for it?
Oh, probably like 20 quid.
Okay. Put it on eBay tomorrow, sell it, and donate that money to charity.
Okay. So
there's nothing else. Specifically that microphone. I have my eye on that microphone. It has to be that microphone. If you keep that microphone, I don't care. If you keep that microphone and just donate another 20 quid, whatever you call it, 20 pounds, you mean?
Yes.
Speak normally. Okay, so if you go donate another 20 pounds without selling that microphone, it doesn't count. It has to be that microphone. Because if you go donate 20 pounds to charity and still keep that microphone, I'm going to say like, okay, fine, you donated 20 pounds to charity, but why didn't you also sell that microphone and raise another 20 pounds? Okay, it has to be that microphone. I'm just specifically for some reason, I specifically have my eyes on that microphone, and it has to be that has to be the method that you reduce misery in the world. Okay, and then once you did that, I'm gonna get you to go with your phone around the house. I'm gonna find other things. Okay, I'm gonna find other things around your house, and you have to sell those specific things that I point to. I decide. I point, and you have to sell that to charity on eBay and give them give that money to charity. Okay, if you say no, I'm gonna do a different way. No, it has to be the way I say.
Why?
How about that? Because that's what vegans are doing to us, okay? Because vegans are like, this is how you should reduce misery. I'm like, how about I do this? No, it has to be this. It has to be this. I'm like, but I'm reducing misery over here in a different way. Like, huh?
I don't think it has to be. Like this is my big. I know the different. I know you're arguing against both me and the vegan movement, which are two separate things. But for me, oh god damn it. For me, also quid is a perfectly reasonable way to say a pound. By the way.
Okay, fine. I don't know.
Just because you guys understand Britain does not mean it doesn't exist. But no, like, but for me, like, I have no opposition to you in terms of young way that you do. I don't think you are any more morally less. In fact, I think because of the fact you do your own charity work, you're in fact morally more. I think it's like a pros and cons chart. Like what pros and cons are you doing? And I think for you balanced out to your being. I would say I could say, well, you could have veganism do it. You don't have to. You've obviously doing a lot already, but I'd say you could if you wanted to. And maybe if someone in your position, exactly your position, who wasn't so attached to your egg whites and chicken as you are, would do it, and fair enough to them. But you're not, whatever. Like I say, I'm not. I don't think. I think your system of getting people to do this as a pros and cons column is actually something really effective that vegans could use to their advantage. To be honest with you, but I don't think undermines the vegan argument in itself. I think in fact it just adds to it because it's something that most people could easily cross from one column to the other. Some people won't because of health reasons or something else. But
I think the one thing the vegan movement could do is be like, you know what, you're not. It would be more of an invitation rather than a demand.
Yeah,
okay,
agreed,
right
completely.
now. Okay, right.
Completely. I
think that attitude change would really help a lot. Okay. Another thing, not because I don't think it's immoral to eat animals. I do think it's immoral to eat animals. I just think that that methodology works better because humans are emotional beings. But another thing that I think is that when it comes to there's two. Okay. This is like, imagine that this is the fucks I have to give. Every person has this level of fucks to give, okay? When it comes to getting people to contribute to reducing miseries, there's two different movements, okay? One is like, okay, you have this much fucks to give. Let's put it, can I get some of your fucks to go towards here? And I could be like, okay, here's some fucks for you. Here's some fucks for you. And then you run out of fucks and like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of fucks, okay? So there's one attempt at like getting people to do more, either through charity or through activism, is to get them to redirect their fucks in the areas that you think is more important. Okay. Another different form of activism is to try to increase the size of this bowl for everybody. Okay. And that takes exercise. That takes just like you exercise your mental capacity to be more logical and understand things faster, just like you exercise and your muscles get stronger. I think sympathy is something that you could learn to enjoy and become addicted, turn it into a desire that you become addicted to satisfying. Okay, so I think that if you go to a gym and if you overtrain yourself and then you injure yourself and you might not go to the gym again, I think if you try to overexhaust use of using people's sympathy, I think they're going to burn out and they might stop giving a fuck altogether in some areas, right? I think that I think some people, when it comes to getting people to use their sense of sympathy to care about different things, I think sometimes people misunderstand the difference between making the bowl bigger and the activism that is involved in making the bowl bigger with the activism that is involved into where do I redirect the fucks that you already have.
I get that. But I suppose my argument would be like, in terms of fucks to give, like with terms of like agree that the big movement has perhaps alienated people from.
Oh, what happened? Am I still here?
The argument the vegans make.
You got cut for a second. Can you say it again?
I think equally the argument the vegans would make in terms of whether people for getting people involved with animal rights is that with the argument that, for example, by making people feel immoral that we alienate people from the animal rights movement, and we should actually instead lobby and get regulations. It's much harder. I think you'd agree, to mobilize a group of people committed to activism, to lobby a government, to sign petitions, to come to meetings, to do all these things. It's much easier and more marketable to go, oh, you just have to change your diet slightly. I think that's easier.
I think it's okay. So this is the way that my version of activism would work. Okay, it's like investing in demonizing corporations that have low standards for. Actually, it doesn't really involve even people doing much. Okay, my form of activism, as long as you could convince people that these corporations are evil. Okay, for not having higher standards, and you're already going to make it easy, and then by like getting comedians to speak about it, getting news organizations to talk about it, and just getting people angry enough, like, oh my God, these companies are evil, evil, evil. Okay. And then as soon as you already made that investment, see, it doesn't even require asking for something. Okay. So you create the bedrock. Okay. You create the, you foundations of this movement is just getting people's opinions negative towards corporations that are, have low standards for how they treat animals. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make it easy for politicians automatically to take advantage of this sense of anger, right? Because as a politician is going to notice that, oh, these people hate this corporation. So a politician is going to notice as soon as they come and say, like, I'm going to make it illegal for these corporations to play A, B, and C. People are like, yes, finally somebody. Okay. So the beauty of this movement is that you don't even need to ask people to do something. You just need to raise awareness about how evil these corporations are about, and demonize, and show them like how bad they're treating animals. And it's just there for the taking. It's like it's fertile ground all of a sudden for the politicians to come and take advantage of it.
I think that's happening more than you think. At least in the UK, for example.
Of course that's happening because we live because everything is moving forward. The whole world is getting better. Yeah. We're progressing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm saying it would have happened a lot more.
I know.
If all of yes.
But I just think this idea like, oh, corporations are evil. I think majority, and this might be my inner Marxist speaking, but everyone thinks corporations are evil. It's just a fact.
That's why this would have been so easy. The corporation evil part is already there. Now demonizing corporations specifically for treating animals this way, because people's mindset is already, oh, corporation evil. This would have been such an easy push. Like you could be like, oh, you could have like anti-McDonald's for even buying from these, like, oh, let's get McDonald's to shift buying from these farms to those farms because they have lower standards. Like and if you could push McDonald's to come out with a statement like, oh, because of popular demand, we're not buying from here and we're buying from there anymore. If you could get that, that's like, it's a major, supplier of meat all of a sudden switched from one, like you made one company that had slightly worse treatment of animals go bankrupt, and it's going to put all the animal farms at edge. They're going to be like, oh my God, we could lose a major customer like McDonald's because of this. They're going to be like, we better like get ahead of this, right? We're going to advertise how we're going to treat our animals, right? And it's going to be more, they're going to pass, and again, they're going to pass that cost down to the consumer, and it's going to be less demand for higher enemies. I already made that point.
Yeah, I know. So let's say I don't, but let's say for the sake of argument that I grant that is the effective thing to do. However, we're already past a point now where the vegan movement is firmly established, and people have been alienated. Let's say, I undoubtedly have. I won't lie. Like so let's say we're past your hypothetical. Now, in the current situation, what would your position be on the vegan movement? And how is it just taking the movement we've got and changing it from a demand to an invitation? Because if so, I'd completely agree with you, because I think we need to stop demanding and start inviting personally.
I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know if we're past the point that we need to come up with a new brand for animal rights activism. You know how, just like with feminism has achieved so much good, okay? But because of the bad PR, a lot of people don't want to call themselves feminists anymore, even though they're feminists. They call themselves women rights activists, right? I don't know if it's a good idea to give up on the label and come up with something else, or to own it and just try to make it work on the image. I don't know. Okay, but maybe it's a bad idea to give up on the word feminist. Maybe you should just take it away from the people who are crazy and be like, no, we're not going to give up on the word feminist instead of rebranding it. So that's what I do with the word liberal, for example, right? A lot of people were giving up on the word liberal. I was like, no, screw that. I'm a liberal. So I don't know. Maybe do we try to push for a more sane version of veganism? Or do we you know what? I'm just going to go with I'm an animal rights activist.
See, I think given a lot of vegans will describe themselves as animal rights activists, I think it is just, I think personally, I think a lot of the vegan movement could do with learning things like true epistemology and how to approach people and how to actually have a decent, which is why I am a massive fan of Earthling Ed and Cosmic Skeptic, because they're both very good at irrationally, without guilt tripping someone.
What do you think Cosmic Skeptic would say to somebody like me that accepts, like, with no cognitive dissonance, that says, like, I accept, yeah, it's evil, and I'm
I think
doing
it would drive him insane, because I know he really values logical consistency.
But I am being logical consistent.
I know, but like you talk to him, like I just like.
No, but I'm even more sure of my position than last time. It's more structured than last time I talked to him. Because how could you, like, if what would the vegan have against me right now? Like, a vegan, like, this is evil. I'm going to convince you that this is evil. And like, I know it's evil. So it's this, right? But you're being evil. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. And like, so what, but where are they going to take me from there? What's gonna be the next?
It's difficult. You're the hardest one I've had. The hardest person I've ever talked about it. I won't like it. I've talked at least a dozen people into being vegan, and you're the hardest one.
All right. Okay. But I haven't made any logical and consistent.
No, you haven't. And at least that's it. At least you're on a grounding that is logical. And like I said, on that, moving off of veganism to like utilitarianism, at least on that column of what am I doing to my own personal well-being versus the world. Like, undoubtedly your column is more to the world than your own, undoubtedly, because of Atheist Republic, and like I think you get let off slightly on that, whereas someone else in your position, if they didn't have a whole charity about helping people, I'd be less sympathetic, I think, perhaps. And that's it. I think case-by-case basis are important, but the whole point of utilitarianism and consequentialism is that we don't have the principles can't be applied universally, because that doesn't work. Like, this is the whole point. And you have to take things on a case by case, and that's, I just think, something that people, vegans, and everyone should learn. I think a better grounding in the philosophy behind your movement and how an approach to convince people would be needed in the vegan movement. I think that we can agree on. I'm sure. I just think it'd be easier if you went vegan. But I know you like your egg whites, so I'll let you off.
Adam is saying Armin is evil, and he knows it. Yep, and so is everyone else. The only evil people, non-evil people I've met so far. Maybe Luke is getting close to being one of those non-evil people. Yeah, but the only other non-evil people I ever met was this couple in Vancouver that literally everything they did, everything was for the sake of reducing misery in the world. Like, they were very like good at calculating, and they weren't like minimalists. I mean, they were minimalists in their own personal life, but they weren't minimalists in the charity, because they also started a charity, and they had like a pain calculating machine. But it was like they were really heavily invested into doing nothing other than reducing misery in the world. Like, that was their entire life about. But other than those people, I think everybody else is doing something other than, if you do anything at any point that that invests something in your own desires in a way that could have saved a life somewhere, and you didn't, you do have to realize that you actively decided that your simple pleasure ended up being more important to you than another person's life. And I bet you there's nobody that watches this right now, nobody in the live chat right now, that hasn't made that decision. I don't think it'll be active. I think it'll be passive. Doesn't make a difference. I don't think it does. I don't think it does on the moral question, but it is passive. And I think that's the difference. Like, a part of me, like, for example, like I as we've discussed, love theatre and want to go into theatre, it's my job. But I feel part of me feels guilty for wanting to do that, because I know that I'm fairly intelligent and I could go on to say more productive for the world. But like, and my off balance to that would be donating a certain amount above this to something else would be my. So it's different for everyone. That's the difference between you and me. Like, you feel guilt, you're evil and I'm evil, and you feel guilty about it, and I don't. Okay, well, I think a healthy amount of guilt is not bad. Yeah, but what I decided to do, instead of being not evil, is to just be less evil every day. I think I'm trying to do the same thing. Yeah, but I don't. But because I'm trying to be less evil every day, I don't feel guilty about it. I feel like, wow, like that's so. I'm so awesome. I'm awesome. I love myself. Look at me trying to be less evil. I'm still evil. I know I'm evil, but look at me trying to be less evil every
me,
day. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself.
For me, it's not, and I'm not an active guilt. But as long as I can, like, at any point in my life, stand there and go in my column of what am I doing for myself, what am I doing for the world, and I can say there's more things in the world there than there are columns for myself there. I can feel happy with how I'm doing. And I think if people aim for that, just generally aim for that, like in little ways, the world will be a better place. And even if that's not veganism, even if that's something else like Atheist Republic, or that's what we should do.
Even if it's something else, that's the key point.
Yeah, even if it is. Like, I think vegan. You're right. The vegan movement can get stuck up in its own arse, and it can. Wait,
so we agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree on the vegan movement's insistence can hurt itself. It can. Objectively, I still think vegan. I still think most people. You might be an exception. I don't know, but I think most people for veganism, it's just something easy to do. And if it's not, it's not. But like I said, I genuinely believe it's personal choice. I don't think it is an obligation.
But you agree that you don't have to go vegan to reduce misery, and other ways of reducing misery in the world are as legit as going vegan.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we agree. We completely agree.
Yeah, I think mostly, yeah.
Okay.
I still think
well, you were supposed to prove me wrong. What happened?
No, I don't. I think it's fundamental disagreement in terms of
okay.
In terms of well, look, because you're logically consistent. I can't, like, your argument is solid. There's nothing about it that you can break philosophically. Like, it's fine. It's perfectly solid. Okay, I just think you should add veganism to it. You don't, and you got solid reasons not to. So what can I do? Like I can't.
But if I wanted to, here's the thing: if I wanted to reduce misery a little bit more, I would pick something else. I would pick something else, right?
And I would encourage you to do that. Whatever that happens to be.
Yeah, I would be like, okay, Armin, you could do more. You could increase the size of this bowl, and you could give more fucks. And you could give more fucks. I mean, you could do it, okay? I would be like,
hopefully one day that bowl will also include veganism. But
why? See, why does it have to be that?
Does it have to be? It's just one of the things you could do.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you guys are so obsessed over that one way of reducing misery, right? What if it? So you care about meat? Here's the thing. This is the whole thing. You guys are more interested in making sure that one is checked off rather than rather than the amount of misery that I would be reducing, right? So if I say, oh no, I never got to check off that one, but I managed to check off 100 other things to reducing misery, it's not going to be as emotionally appealing to a lot of vegan activists than me not doing that 100 other things and checking off the vegan one. You know what I mean?
I think some vegans are right. Yeah, I don't disagree with you in terms of the vegan movement. I'm only saying veganism in the context of this because that was what the discussion topic was. I think all genuinely are equally valid most of the time. As long as you can factually prove they are. Obviously, you have to back it up with evidence.
Look at this comment. Comment saying I'm trying to be less and less evil so you could eat eggs whites is a cop out. No, guess what? My name is irrelevant. I don't need any reason to eat eggs or chicken. If I want to eat eggs or chicken, I don't find excuses. Okay, I will torture a chicken without guilt if I have to, with my own hands, without feeling any guilt, just to taste its meat. No way, no, I don't need excuse. Don't worry, I don't need excuses. Okay, I will video myself torturing. No, wait, can I say that? No, YouTube. Holy crap, YouTube, that was a joke. That was joking. No animals were harmed in the production of this video. That was a joke. Okay, do not harm animals. Animals are love. We love animals. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Wait, I don't know if that was against YouTube standard. YouTube, I was joking. God. Okay, cool. All right.
No,
cool.
So I need to go in now, but I think a lot of your problem comes from the vegan movement, as does a lot of people, to be fair. And its optics are bad, but I would encourage people to not give up on animal welfare because of that, personally.
Yes.
And watch Atling Ed, all of you, because he's very good.
Wait, maybe we should reach out to him maybe we could have a discussion.
You should. I would absolutely love to see you talk to Atling Ed. Yeah, I think it'd be fascinating.
Okay, cool. All right. This is fun. I love talking to you, but I know you need to go. So I'll let you go. All right. Talk to you soon.
Oh, well,
bye.
Bye.
Bye.